What if I told you that some of the greatest love songs ever written came from a woman whose name you've probably never heard? But behind every hit she wrote, there was a race against time and a secret she never shared until it was too late. A woman who wrote, "You are everything, people make the world go round," and "The greatest love of all," yet remained invisible while her words became the soundtrack to millions of lives. This is the story of Linda Creed, the hidden genius behind soul music's most powerful moments. If you love uncovering hidden legends like this, don't forget to like and subscribe to Legends Underrated, and tell me in the comments, where in the world are you watching from? Linda Creed's journey began in 1948 Philadelphia, in the modest Mount Airy neighborhood, where a Jewish family was raising a daughter who would one day give voice to the deepest emotions of the human heart. While other children played outside, young Linda sat inside, writing poems and humming melodies that seemed to flow from somewhere beyond her years. Her notebooks filled with rhymes and lines that teachers noticed immediately. This wasn't typical teenage writing. These were words that carried weight, emotion, and a wisdom that felt ancient. Philadelphia in the 1950s pulsed with rhythm. Gospel choirs filled Sunday mornings with pure emotion. Radio stations blasted Ray Charles and the Drifters. Doo-wop groups practiced on street corners, while the roots of what would become legendary Philly soul slowly took shape. Linda absorbed every note, every harmony, every cry of joy and pain that floated through her city's air. She wasn't just listening to music. She was learning its language, understanding how melody could carry meaning and how words could heal wounds that nothing else could touch. At Germantown High School, Linda's gift became undeniable. Her handwriting was always full of lyrics, her thoughts constantly turning phrases until they felt perfect. She would linger in the music room after classes, testing melodies on piano keys and discussing rhythm with band students. But the music industry of the 1960s belonged to men, and a young white Jewish girl trying to write soul music faced skepticism at every turn. People didn't know what to make of her. Some dismissed her entirely. Others questioned whether she could authentically capture emotions she supposedly hadn't lived. Linda never argued with the doubters. She simply kept writing, trusting that truth would speak for itself. Through Philadelphia's tight-knit music community, Linda's lyrics eventually reached Tom Bell, a producer and arranger who was building a reputation for blending classical sophistication with rhythm and blues soul. When Tom saw Linda's writing, he recognized something extraordinary. These weren't just clever rhymes or catchy hooks. These were stories, painted with words that felt cinematic and deeply human. Their first meeting sparked immediate creative chemistry. Tom would sit at his piano, playing lush orchestral chords, and Linda would craft narratives that made those melodies breathe with life and emotion. Their partnership found its perfect vessel in the Stylistics, a group whose smooth harmonies and Russell Tompkins Jr.'s soaring falsetto became the ideal delivery system for Linda's delicate poetry. Their first collaboration, Stop, Look, Listen to Your Heart, released in 1971, wasn't just another love song. It was a meditation on mindfulness decades before that word became popular. Linda understood that the most powerful emotions often lived in quiet moments, in the space between heartbeats where real truth resided. Then came You Are Everything in 1972, and everything changed. The song felt eternal from its first play, as if it had always existed in the collective consciousness. Linda possessed a rare gift for taking deeply personal feelings and making them universal. Whether you were young or old, heartbroken or newly in love, those words spoke directly to your soul. Radio stations couldn't stop playing it, and suddenly industry insiders began asking the same question. Who was this woman writing all these incredible songs? But Linda never craved attention. While Tom Bell sometimes bragged about her talent in interviews, calling her a poet with a fighter's will, Linda remained focused on the next lyric, the next melody, the next opportunity to touch someone's heart. Success meant nothing if the songs didn't make people feel something real. Her follow-up masterpiece, Betcha by Golly Wow, showcased her ability to blend old-school innocence with sophisticated poetry. The title alone captures something magical about love that felt too big for ordinary words. People Make the World Go Round marked Linda's evolution beyond romance into social consciousness. Writing during the early 1970s, she watched protests, cultural changes, and widespread confusion, then transformed that chaos into art. The song carried both soul and substance, proving she could write about life's complexity without losing the emotional truth that made her special. Other songwriters began studying her phrasing, her tone, her remarkable ability to wrap sadness and hope together in the same breath. By 1973, Linda had become one of Philadelphia's most important lyricists, even if most listeners remained unaware of her contributions. Her songs were everywhere: weddings, roller rinks, slow dance nights, television soundtracks. If you lived through that era, Linda Creed's words were woven into your memories, shaping your understanding of love, loss, and everything in between. Stories like these are why I built Legends Underrated, so make sure to subscribe for more untold tales. The mid-1970s represented Linda's absolute creative peak. You Make Me Feel Brand New stopped time when it first played, its tender spirituality, touching something deeper than romance. When Linda wrote, "God Bless You, You Make Me Feel Brand New," she wasn't crafting commercial poetry. She was expressing genuine gratitude for love's transformative power. Her writing sessions with Tom Bell had become legendary throughout the industry. He would begin playing those lush arrangements, violins sweeping and horns crying, while Linda closed her eyes and whispered phrases until one resonated with perfect truth. Her humility remained remarkable even as her influence grew. She preferred staying in the background, crafting lines that would carry people through their best and worst days. While egos ran wild throughout the music business, Linda maintained her focus on authentic emotion over commercial success. She could make heartbreak sound beautiful and hope feel tangible, all while remaining the same quiet, observant girl who had started writing poems in her childhood bedroom. But life's cruelest irony was approaching. Just as her career reached its zenith, Linda received devastating news. In 1975, at only 26 years old, she was diagnosed with breast cancer. The word hit like lightning, threatening everything she had built and dreamed. Most people might have retreated, might have focused entirely on treatment and recovery. Linda did something different. She turned her pain into even more powerful poetry. Friends recall seeing her at recording sessions during treatment, notebook in hand, still crafting lyrics with trembling fingers and a mind sometimes foggy from medication. Music wasn't just her career anymore. It had become her therapy, her way of processing fear and hope simultaneously. She never complained, never made her struggle the center of attention. She simply kept writing, kept believing that songs could heal both the creator and the listener. During this period, Linda's collaborations expanded beyond the stylistics. She worked with the Spinners, Johnny Mathis, and Dusty Springfield, bringing her signature emotional honesty to new artistic territories. One collaboration with Mathis, "Life is a Song Worth Singing," became more than just a title. It represented Linda's personal philosophy, her determination to keep creating beautiful music regardless of the darkness she faced. Then came the song that would define her forever, "The Greatest Love of All." Originally written in 1977 for George Benson's recording for the Muhammad Ali biopic, The Greatest, the song emerged from Linda's deepest personal struggles. Those lyrics, "I decided long ago never to walk in anyone's shadow. If I fail, if I succeed, at least I'll live as I believe," weren't abstract philosophy. They were her survival manifesto, written by someone fighting cancer while raising a family and continuing to create art that lifted others. The song represented Linda's message to the world about self-worth, courage, and faith. She was telling everyone, including herself, that no matter what happened, she wouldn't lose her essential identity. Years later, when Whitney Houston recorded her version in 1985, those words became a worldwide anthem of empowerment, but Linda never witnessed that moment. She passed away in April 1986, just weeks before Whitney's version hit #1, and introduced Linda's message to millions of new hearts. Linda's final years were spent balancing motherhood, marriage, and her ongoing battle with illness. She would spend quiet days with her husband, Stephen Lee, and their two daughters, keeping life as normal as possible while continuing to write whenever strength allowed. Friends said she never lost her humor or grace, even during the weakest moments. When someone asked what she was doing, she would smile softly and say, "Working." Music remained her purpose, not just her profession. Her friendship with Phyllis Hyman produced one of her most emotional final works, Old Friend, written while Linda was hospitalized and already weakened by illness, became a gentle farewell disguised as gratitude. When Phyllis recorded it, she could barely sing without tears, feeling Linda's spirit in every note. The song wasn't written in sadness, but in appreciation for the connections that make life meaningful. When Linda passed in 1986, at 37, Philadelphia mourned quietly, like a family losing its storyteller. Radio stations played her songs back to back while people cried and artists realized what the world had lost. Then, almost poetically, the universe honored her the only way it knew how. Whitney Houston's version of The Greatest Love of All exploded across the world, reaching #1 and becoming one of the most iconic songs of the 1980s. Suddenly, millions of people were singing Linda's words about self-love and inner strength without knowing her name. It was both beautiful and heartbreaking, the world finally embracing her message while she wasn't there to witness the celebration. Every time someone sang, "Learning to love yourself is the greatest love of all," they were speaking Linda's truth, carrying forward her belief that healing begins from within. Linda Cree's influence didn't end with her passing. Throughout the 1990s and 2000s, artists kept rediscovering her catalog. R&B singers, pop icons, and hip-hop producers sampled her melodies and carried forward her tradition of emotional honesty. Mary J. Blige, Alicia Keys, and Babyface all walked paths that Linda helped create, proving that authentic feeling never goes out of style. This twist shocked the world, and if you never want to miss stories like this, subscribe to Legends Underrated today. Modern artists continue finding inspiration in Linda's approach to songwriting. Her DNA lives in songs like Alicia Keys' "If I Ain't Got You," and in countless contemporary R&B ballads that prioritize emotional truth over commercial calculation. Every generation rediscovers her in its own way, some through the stylistics, others through Whitney Houston, and still others by stumbling across her story online and being amazed that she wrote all those songs while fighting for her life. Philadelphia honors her memory through a scholarship foundation supporting cancer research and music education, ensuring that young people can continue creating and living regardless of the challenges they face. Her name might not be carved into Hollywood sidewalks, but in her hometown it's carved into hearts. The city that raised her continues to celebrate the sound she helped define, knowing that greatness doesn't always need to be loud or flashy. What makes Linda's story so powerful is how someone who never chased fame ended up writing some of the world's most famous songs. She proved that you don't need spotlights when your art shines for itself. Her legacy lives every time You Are Everything plays at a wedding. Every time People Make the World Go Round sparks nostalgia. And every time The Greatest Love of All gives someone strength to keep going. Linda Creed taught us something timeless about love, whether in a song, a friendship, or yourself. She showed that real love, the kind that lasts, starts from within and radiates outward to touch everyone it encounters. Her pain became beauty, her struggle became legacy, and her short life became something eternal. So what do you think? Does Linda Creed deserve a biopic, a Hall of Fame induction, or perhaps something even more meaningful, the simple act of keeping her music alive by playing it, sharing it, and feeling it? Because at the end of the day, Linda Creed reminded us that love, in all its forms, really is the greatest gift of all. Rest in power, Linda Creed.